Are we 7:15?
I don't know.
I got 7:18.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Good morning.
Good morning.
Very good. Normally, most of the time, I don't ever say anything back. This is gonna be pretty quick because what we got to talk about is a pretty simple product. Part of our sales force has seen it. We introduced both of these products in Biloxi sales meeting. We didn't even have them for Roundup. So the guys in Texas haven't seen these products. I'm going out there this afternoon and I'll show them to a couple of people in Dallas. But we'll have to get all of them introduced to it, and then we'll introduce it to the Memphis, Nashville, Huntsville, Little Rock group next Tuesday in our sales meeting in Tunica. The response at the Biloxi show was much better than what we actually had expected. We thought maybe the product would be something, it's very unique, but you never know whether unique is good or bad. And it's something kind of different that's really never been exposed in the United States. These guys called me back in December. His name is Bas van der Jaren. He's from the Netherlands. He actually lives in Bella Vista, Arkansas right now. And that's where all of their warehousing is. So from the standpoint of us getting material quickly and the freight, if we can pick it up, obviously, depending on our routes being full, whether we'll be able to pick it up or not. But it's going to be a pretty easy turnaround on getting the material. We've placed our initial order. Pam Dietrich is the purchasing agent. She ordered it yesterday, so I am suspecting we'll probably have it by the end of next week. Maybe sooner than that. Again, it's in Bella Vista, Arkansas. That's Bentonville. For those of you who don't know where that is, I didn't know where it was. We were at. The company name is Instafloor. I-N-S-T-A Floor. They are manufacturers in South Africa, in Durban, South Africa. And as a matter of fact, the plant that they are making the material in used to be a carpet mill. And for those of you, I'm sure most of you have talked to Dale McClanahan at one time or another. He worked in that factory for 3 years when it was a carpet mill. That's where he grew up. So it's a long story how he ended up with us, but we won't go into that. That'd be a beer sometime. Can I say that?
You just did.
Too late. So anyway, but they've had this product. It has been very, very successful in Europe for about 4 or 5 years. They've had it in Australia for a couple of years now, and it's a different market, number one, in Europe, because flooring in Europe, when you buy flooring for your home, you plan on taking that with you when you move. Flooring here is permanent. You can't take the flooring with you if you want to, because it becomes attached to the house, and when you sell your house, anything that's attached has to stay. But in Europe, people move their flooring with them as they move around. So anyway, we started looking at it, and Bosch came over, and we sat in here for about 30 minutes. He started giving me the pitch, and I said, the more he talked, the more interested I got in it. So I said, we'll discuss it. We'll see if we're really interested. We met him in Vegas. There were like 5 of them. 2 guys from the Netherlands, 1 from Canada, 2 from South Africa. So their whole management team, we had breakfast with them, with our management group, and they offered us the product and our entire footprint, which was number one, that's something we had to have. So we'll have it every place that we cover with no competition. Now, that being said, there's not a whole lot of competition out there because it is such a different type of product. I've got plenty of these. I don't know how many people are going to be here, so if y'all kind of pass those around. But that's the... This is a piece of the product.
It's pan.
It's made out of, it's made out of tires. And if you're reading the brochure, tires is spelled T-Y-R-E-S. Again, it's a European, South African company, and I guess that's how they spell tires. So it's it's like an 80% recycled product. This is an installation product, as opposed to having an underlayment like we have with SSVB or MUL. Those type of products are underlayments for sound deadening, for moisture protection with the SSVB, for cushion. This is actually an installation type product. It's 3 by roughly 50 feet. It's actually 1 meter by 15 meters. So it's 15 square meters on a row. For us, that's 161.4 square feet per row. It's set up in the system. Yes?
You didn't give me the, is that it?
Sorry about that.
Morning. There's biscuits and stuff.
Let's go pay the bill.
We didn't get any, Jerry. They
Thank you.
did,
I'm right here.
You still ain't got it.
Still need another one?
One more.
Oh, wait.
2 more.
Here you go. Oh, one more.
So anyway, this is actually an installation product. Although it does have sound deadening, it's like a sound deadening on the IIC number. It's like a 59 on LVT. It's a 60, whatever. The numbers are in there, and nobody probably is going to ask you that, but we do have all the specifications. There's 20 rolls on a pallet. It's set up in the system as installation. So we made a real simple code for a change that even I can find.
Thank you for that.
Excuse me. So, anyway, after looking at it, we said this really has some possibilities for us. If you look at that little piece, those ones that are laying around, the shiny side, if you pull that corner back, don't stick it to anything you want, or that you want to get it off of. The shiny side goes up, and that's actually the installation material. We can put down LVT, sheet vinyl, laminate, engineered hardwood. Engineered hardwood, no solid. Which is pretty unique for a product like this. We can also put down carpet tiles and broadloom carpet. And the advantage to the company that's putting it down is if the subfloor, for example, painted concrete, the only way you can put a floor over painted concrete, stained concrete, is you have to bead blast the stained concrete, float it, put your adhesive down, lay the floor. This you can go right over anything. Now, you can't lay it over carpet and lay something on top of it, obviously, but any subfloor type product. If you have a bad subfloor, it may need to be floated in some areas, but if it's just a slight irregularities, this can fill up a lot of voids. It can go over VCT if you don't want to take up all VCT. So almost everything we sell can be put over this product. They are developing, they actually have another, this is a 3 millimeter product called Installate 3, Installate 3.0 or something like that. There's an actual code on it, HG. But they also have a 5 millimeter one that they stock it. We're not going to get into the heavier one right now. We'll wait and see what happens with this. They're also working on a thinner product, which would probably be a 1.5 to 2 millimeters. that would go under ceramic tile. Now, when you talk about ceramic tile, you're talking about having to really have some heavy, heavy mastic on it. I think that's what part of the issue is. They can make it stick, but they can't keep it from wobbling, so they've got to make it really thin with a really heavy mastic. We'll see if that ever develops, but that's one of the things they're working on. In the brochure, it does show two different 3mm products. We're only going to offer right now just the Installay with the heavy grab, HG. They have one that has a releasable. The only thing the releasable would really be good for would be for carpet tiles, or if you just wanted to do a click floor, where you plan on moving it at some time, but most people are not going to do that even with a click. So we're going to stay with just the one.
Will we back order the others if the customer insists?
The customers won't know about it unless we tell them.
They won't get these brochures?
Well, they might, and if somebody calls and asks, first thing we're going to do, Pam, is find out what's the job. Because we don't want to put it in the wrong installation. Because if they put it in the wrong installation, even though we can give them the instructions, we can say don't do this, you know who's going to get the call when there's a claim. And I really don't anticipate us having any claims with this, so we want to make it really simple.
Okay, well, also you said you can't use hardwood, is that correct?
You can't use solid hardwood.
Well, this brochure says,
It does.
okay,
We are not recommending it over solid hardwood.
okay.
And the brochure does say that. Now, really the only market where we sell a lot of solids are Huntsville and Nashville. That's our biggest solid hardwood markets. But we are not going to put it over solids. They say it'll work, and it might. And a year from now, or 6 months from now, we may have had so much experience that we say this stuff really, we may come back at a future date and say we will put it over solid. But we don't want to start over solid. Solid's too hard to lay to begin with. If you start trying to glue it and do things, it just don't work. This one they say, well, we're staying away from that. We don't want to create any problems. And we've told all of our sales guys, the customers that we were presenting it to down in Biloxi, we told that. We see it more for high-rise buildings, condos and such, because it has great sound deadening properties, as well as ease and quickness of installation. No gypcrete, so you have a whole lot less failure. You start using gypcrete under anything, it's going to fail. I promise. Gypcrete is going to fail. There's a bunch of videos that they have. I'm going to show you just one of them this morning. If you want to go online, it's instafloorna.com. It's North America NA. And they will, I mean, like I say, they've got about 10 or 12 different installation videos and stuff. So, or if you have a customer that wants some installation instructions, obviously we have the brochures, but the video does a much better job of showing it. And it's a pretty cool deal.
The application of Installay is to create stability under wood-based flooring products. Let's now watch as John Roberts demonstrates how quickly and easy it is to fit a wood floor using the Installay peel and stick system.
Okay, thanks Sean. I'm now going to show you how to install the products. But first I need to talk about the subfloor preparation. This is no special treatment. Basically the floor needs to be dry. If it's not dry, then use a suitable damp-proof membrane. Also we need to make sure that the floor is level. It doesn't mean spirit level, that means it's flat enough to accept the floor covering you're going to put on top of it. And then we need...
One thing that he mentioned there, I don't know if y'all can understand it, because he is from South Africa, so he has a pretty heavy accent. He said if the floor is wet, you need to put down like Visqueen. That would be, if there's any kind of moisture issue, put just a 6 mil Visqueen under the Installay. All you gotta do is roll it out and go. But, and that's very inexpensive, 2 or 3 cents a foot. So he did say that, but the first time I watched it, I didn't catch it either. So
needs to be structurally sound, so they've got not too much vertical movement, because too much vertical movement will have an effect on any sort of floor covering going to fit on the top of the system. Provided you've got those three bits of criteria sorted, then we're okay to start rolling out the underlay and to start installing the product. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to unroll the underlay and show you how easy it is to install and cut. You'll see now that the underlay is not over heavy to lift, it's only approximately 20 kilos in weight. And
40
I'm
pounds.
actually rolling it upside down, that makes it easier for rolling. You'll see now that we create a little bit of slack in the roll so that we don't actually cut through with our straight blade into the roll underneath. You will notice now that this cuts very, very cleanly, very, very easily. And as you can see, no crumb left after the cutting. It cuts very, very cleanly. I'm now going to show you how we turn it the correct way up.
That was the hard part.
I actually put air on it so that I can actually move the underlay. You can now see that its natural flop weight keeps it in position. This is also very easy when we're pushing up against the wall. Now I'm going to lay out the second piece, which is the same process.
The question that we had when he first started showing it to us, when you take that
Remember, always leave that little bit of slack.
cover off,
So
how where are you going to walk on it and lay it?
underneath.
It's a good question.
What I have to do now is to make sure that I move it so we get a nice tight butt joint on the underlay. The underlay butts up very tight. This is because it's cut very square and we don't get any gaps, which is very, very good. We don't have to recut any of the joints. Real good feature with this type of underlay system. And now we're going to roll out the rest of the underlay to fill the room, which is exactly the same as was previously done.
Too much waste either.
The HG stands for.
We've already acclimatised the wood to reach equilibrium with the atmosphere we're installing the product into. That's quite an important factor. Today we're using a wood from Beitzer, which is an engineered product, but the installation system is not restricted to one particular manufacturer. You can use solid woods, engineered, bamboo, and quick systems. But this gives much more stability to the joints, particularly in the header joints. I've assumed that you know how to fit wood, so I've already prescribed the boards to the wall and cut them to follow the contours of the wall. What we do now is, taking the wider flap, we turn back a small triangle on each corner, and we turn back the corners on each of the runs of underlay. This is a very high grab, pressure sensitive adhesive on the underlay, as I will show you now. This is very important when you're installing wood because we want a good contact between the wood and the underlay. We've previously cut the boards, and now I'm going to position my boards using the wedges to ensure that I keep my expansion gap, which is important with all wood products. And we place our wedges along the wall to make sure we keep a consistent expansion gap between the wood and the wall.
You know, even LVT.
Now, always follow the manufacturer instructions for the size of the expansion gap, because different manufacturers will require different expansion gaps. We're now going to start our second row, and this board is what I cut off the other side. Once again, put my wedges in. Once I've got that position, we pull back the film from underneath the board to expose the adhesive. As you can see, this is very simple. I just use the tips of my fingers to actually pull the film away. I can now start to pull back my film. As you can see, this board goes together very, very easily. Some manufacturers' boards are going to be slightly tighter than this, so there's no reason not to use a small knocking block or a knocking block and a hammer to get the joints tight together. We're now continuing our first row just to get right to the very end wall. Remember to put your wedges in to keep a consistent expansion gap. And we now go back and continue our second row. Now we're just going to pull out the film as we did on the other rows. If by accident you happen to expose too much of the adhesive, it's fairly simple. All we do is we roll the film back over near to the board, and that helps us to get the next row of boards in. It's a very easy system. As you'll see, as we progress, we're building the rest of the floor.
It just slides as you go.
Yeah, cool.
Have you done it? I know it's really
I had a little bit down to blush.
It's really,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really is easy.
That's revolutionary right there. No mess.
As you can see, it's a very quick and simple installation.
No odor, no
The
smell.
one advantage we've done there, which you may have noticed, is we did not use any adhesive in any of the tongs and grooves. You don't need to use that because the strength of the adhesive on the underlay is more than strong enough to hold the boards in place. I'm now going to show you once again just how I pull the film from underneath the boards. But what you need to take note this time is that I keep one hand on the board so that when I'm pulling the film away, we don't actually separate any of the joints. As you'll see now, you get perfect adhesion every time when you remove the film.
Jerry, did you see that? I mean, did
As
you
you've
know?
just seen, the Installay Peel and Stick system provides a fast, high-quality installation for all types of wood floors. So why use the Installay Peel and Stick system for your wood floor installation? Well, Installay isn't harmful to the environment. It's made from tyres that may have otherwise ended up in a landfill. Installay has exceptional acoustic performance. It is also suitable for click systems and T&G boards. It provides a fast installation by avoiding the use of messy adhesives or mechanical fixings. Installay allows for the seasonal movements of the boards and reduces the effect of cumulative gapping. The underlay is porous, so it's suitable for use with underfloor heating systems. And you have the peace of mind because the Installay system is guaranteed.
So anyway, anybody have any questions on that?
You seen him pull it out like that? Was it that simple?
It was that, yes,
Okay.
Jerry,
yes.
what about moisture issues? Any moisture issues?
If you have a moisture issue, you have to put Visqueen down.
Okay, so that's it, just a little bit, okay.
So other than that, it's not a moisture barrier, it breathes, so I don't think he mentioned it. We don't have a lot of heated flooring in our part of the world, but if you do have it, radiant heat, you can put it over that and it allows you to breathe. But if there is a moisture issue, you've got to put down Visqueen or some kind of moisture barrier of some sort.
I can't figure out how to install broadloom over that.
There's a video if you want to see
I
it.
might have to look at
I
that.
watched it just because I wanted to know how they made a scene.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. I mean, it was really easy.
What about pad? You just use that as the pad? It doesn't seem very...
you really wouldn't have any pad with it. I mean, I wouldn't use this residentially. This would be more of a commercial. The only carpet I've seen installed on video was commercial pattern carpet where he had to match the pattern in the whole bit, and it really went in very well. I don't think it would work residentially because you'd have to put a cushion under it, and then you'd have, that wouldn't work. It's just commercial carpet, a carpet tile. Carpet tile is the big one that they use with this product. But again, if you look at hardwood, for example, adhesive is about 85 cents a foot. That's what it costs the dealer. On LVT, it's about 50 or 60 cents a foot. Carpet adhesive is about the same as hardwood adhesive for commercial carpet tile or broadline. Of course, laminate, most people don't use an adhesive, they float it, but this can be used under laminate as well. So you eliminate your adhesive cost, floor prep, and it's really a fast installation. Lumber Liquidators sells a product very similar to this, and it's like one of their top selling products in their stores, because most people that go Lumber Liquidators are do-it-yourselfers. Really easy. You don't have to spread adhesive, the odor, the cleanup.
Right.
You know, again, we sold either 7 or 9 pallets in Biloxi. I haven't seen all the orders come in yet. So the dealers are looking at it as an alternative as well for different things. We may sell 7 pallets, and that may be all we ever sell. I mean, there's 2 reasons that we took it on. Number one, we think it does have some promise, and we think we'll sell some, and the margins on it for the ESOP for us, the margins are very, very good, which is nice. We don't have to buy a lot of inventory because it's inventory in Arkansas, which is very nice. Now, if we decide, if it starts taking off and we're selling 40 or 50 pallets a month, we'll probably bring in containers because it'll save us another 20 cents a foot, which just goes to the bottom line as well. We just have to see how that goes. And the other reason, somebody in our market, and this is probably the worst reason to take something on, somebody was going to have it. And we didn't want to wait a year down the road and say, damn, we could have had that, and we didn't.
How much are we selling it by the roll?
If you buy, it's $1.19 for single rolls, 1 to 9, 10 to 19 is $1.09, 99 cents for a pallet. That's per square foot.
And you have to buy it by the roll.
You have to buy it by the roll. We're not going to cut it. 161.4 square feet, or 15 square meters per roll. Any other questions on this product? I got one other one I'm going to show you real
I
quick.
think you're gonna have a lot of the glue returns here soon.
I don't have to worry about that. And it doesn't go out of date.
I know.
How quick can you walk on it? Can you walk on it?
As soon as you can walk on it, as you lay it.
You know, I gotta use it.
There's no wait, there's no downtime wait for there's no downtime spread the
I got
adhesive.
some
let it
places where I
fly.
can use this, right?
There's no downtime once you put the floor in. It is good to go immediately.
Do you have to do anything at all to weight it down or to walk over it
I
to get
would
it to stick?
personally, and they don't say it, I would roll it, particularly with LVT. Wood, I mean, it's hard to roll wood anyway because it's not gonna give a lot. But, yeah, you gotta make sure it's adhered. And I'm gonna tell you, they had some huge pieces down there that they haven't actually built a platform that has, it's about this deep, and there's floor down there. And it's 8 by 12. They laid hardwood, LVT, laminate in different areas. And let installers, customers play with it. I played with it just to see if it was that easy, and it really is. But I would roll it, particularly on LVT, or any kind of sheet.
Hey, Jude,
Yes, sir.
so there's no reason just to use the Visqueen just as a precautionary reason underneath it?
You know, if you think you might have, if Visqueen is so inexpensive,
Right.
why not?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would probably use it particularly under wood. Just be
Just
safe.
because.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you know, because there's nothing to prevent moisture. most people don't use Visqueen when they do a hardwood floor anyway.
Right, right.
We just did our upstairs, we didn't use the Visqueen, so I hope that none of my pipes up there are leaking, so I don't have a problem. That would be about the only thing you'd have on an upstairs, downstairs on a slab. Even when we did our house initially, we didn't use Visqueen. Now, hopefully there's Visqueen under the slab.
Slab, right, right.
I don't know that, I would never report it. But, yeah, again, it's such a new product, I would make sure we try to take as much precaution as
Right.
we can, just to cover ourselves, because if there is a moisture issue, it's gonna be the dealer's problem, which you know what that means. It's gonna be our problem. All right, I'm gonna show y'all one more thing, right quick. We have had a product in stock for about 5 or 6 months called Healthier Choice. It was HC 7200P. It was an underlayment that you could glue LVT over. When we were having problems getting MUL, we brought this product in. It was in the system, it's HC 7200P. They had changed that product and given it a name. It's now called Omni Choice. So if you look up Omni Choice, if you go to HC 70, it'll take you to this. They also changed the color. It used to be green, and now it's yellow or gold. I'm not sure what that is. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. If somebody called and said the last I got was green, it's exactly the same product. All they did was change the color to yellow. Because another product they had was green and it didn't work, and I think they probably had some people that may have used the wrong thing. We're sending back, if we haven't already sent it back, we only had like 35 or 40 rolls of the green left in stock. We're sending it all back. This is in, I think the code on it's OC 7200P. But it'll go under LVT, really under anything. You can float the top, float the bottom. You can glue the top, float it to the floor. You can float it to the floor, or glue it to the floor and float the top. You can put this down any of multiple different ways. The main thing was I want to give you all a heads up that it's now Omni Choice instead of whatever, just HC. It didn't have a name, so. Anything else?
How much of that do we sell? Because I've never sold it.
Selling quite a bit of it.
Yeah, that must be somebody else.
The vendors accept the warranty, Jerry? The
Pardon?
vendors that we actually have to use adhesive for accept this as a warranty, this stuff?
Well, you don't use adhesive with that.
No, I mean, for when you apply on the top, does that make sense? Am I making sense? No,
You mean like warranty for the product?
yes.
Oh, the product's fully warranted,
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't use any adhesive, so.
She was, I think, just meaning, does the vendor, if they were using this and it got defective, will the vendor?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what
Yes.
she's trying to ask.
Yeah, it's all fully warranted, yes, absolutely, we wouldn't even consider that
Thank you.
otherwise.
Okay.
And then with this one, you just use the adhesive that's recommended for the product they're putting down. Anything else? Thank y'all for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeffrey.